but people around 60 are still relatively young in the grand scheme of things. So I don't get that kind of language from them. So it's both. I've grown up with that language, and then I get it from older patients fairly often. Also, family members that have addressed this or are very active in a faith that is very defined about afterlife also tend to use that kind of language.
Okay, interesting. Have you experienced any kind of afterlife, spiritual, otherworldly things since you're around it so often?
A little bit less of like, I've seen a ghost. I have not personally. I have people who that say that they have. I am personally of the opinion that I feel like probably all of it's a little bit true. Like every version that people have of the next thing is a little bit true, and when we reach it, it'll probably just be a makes sense kind of a deal. But so I'm not particularly skeptical when people say, I saw that. Tends to be more like just unexplained things during the passing process. Like there was one facility where while the person was actively exiting, they were talking to a spouse pretty actively and like saying their name. And they were in a facility that uses active cameras in the room to keep it monitors on everybody. Some places do, some places don't. And on the camera, there's just some inexplicable light right next to them. Everybody had a little bit of a different explanation for what that was about, but I am pretty comfortable just going, could be, maybe. They certainly felt so, and I can respect that.
Yeah. God, can we get a hold of that footage? That'd be really great for the podcast. I'm guessing not.
That was years.
I saw some documentary at some point, and I think it was like an afterlife documentary on Netflix, and there were nurses that were talking about there's like a man in a hat, top hat guy that they've all
Mhm.
seen that like just appears, and he's like the man that takes people. It's like the Grim Reaper of sorts or something like that. Yeah,
Yeah,
we know the guy. We don't know him, but like we see him. Everyone's seen him or something like that.
yeah.
Which I don't know, but you don't have that guy.
Don't have that guy, but would probably, like, again, I kind of am of the opinion just going, possibly, kind of to all of it.
Yeah.
So, one of my coworkers told me about that guy. That would likely be my answer is, yeah, maybe.
So before we go to the concert portion, was there any other lessons learned or takeaways that you have, just that like your
Hmm.
own wisdom that have changed you as a result of doing this job?
I think one of the things, if I had to pick anything, I think a lot of the, fears of that have built up and become very common. Social media has become just an active part of reality and not a thing people, might opt in or out of. More so than the fear of missing out is like the not doing enough with the time that you have. Like, I feel like that is maybe one of the bigger scars that like things like grind set has left behind. It's like, is my, personal CV long enough at the end of the day uh, to be, valuable or worthwhile to truly who? Great question. Nobody can answer that part. Who's the judge? Some of the people that I've met that have the best stories and have lived like the most amazing lives and have the most jovial dispositions have lived incredibly mundane lives. Some of the sweetest stories I've ever heard wouldn't make it into a movie.